Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rishi Kumar Ray, and today we are going to have a knowledge session on this Travis CI. So, before starting this session, let me just walk you through the knowledge etiquettes that we should follow. So, make sure you are punctual and also please provide constructive feedback for the session as it would be helpful for me as a presenter to come up with some great topics next time. And keep your devices in silent mode, and in case of any meetings and all, you can feel free to move out of the session and avoid any unwanted chit chat during the session. So the agenda for today's session is, first we'll be going through what is CI/CD. We'll just try to have some overview of what is CI/CD and why it is required, and then we'll come across what is this Travis CI. So after that, we'll be just going through all the benefits, and further we'll have a discussion on the how this Travis CI works, and what are the pros and cons, and what are the pricing models, and then like what functionality does it have from the other CI tools. So in the market currently, if I say, we have many CI tools, so we'll just see and compare it with any of one of them. So after that, we'll be just concluding our session with a demo. Now, what is CI/CD? So if I ask anyone from the audience, like, can you just tell me what do you understand by CI/CD? Anyone from the audience?
Well, CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. Here, what we build, we have continuously integrated by building artifact and deploying it to the server. Like any changes we have done, we continuous integrate it.
Right. Anyone else? Would you like to? Okay. Thank you for the answer. So let me just summarize this. So why CI/CD was needed? So now, there were various problems and challenges that were available in this modern software development life cycle. So challenges there was a requirement for faster time delivery to the market, improved software quality, improved software collaboration, and in between that, we also needed to have some continuous feedback system. So now to solve all these problems, this CI/CD was required, where as you have correctly explained, that it is basically this continuous integration and continuous deployment, or CD stands for both continuous deployment as well as for continuous delivery. Now, these are the only challenges that it was required in order to to streamline this software development life cycle. Now, by streamlining the software development life cycle, I mean to accelerate the delivery, to improve the quality, and to enhance the collaboration among the development teams. Now, it has become an essential practice in this SDLC life cycle of software. So this was why it was required. Now, moving on to, I have already explained what is the CI/CD. Now, moving on to this Travis CI. What is Travis CI? So, Travis CI is basically a hosted continuous integration and deployment service that we basically integrate with the GitHub repositories. But nowadays, if you see, they also have integration available with GitLab, Bitbucket, and the other SBN Git repositories and all. So it basically provides you an easy to use platform for automatic building, testing, and deploying your any of the code that you want. So here you can see we have a term like hosted. It is basically a self-hosted. That is like you don't need to maintain the infrastructure of the private CI. So it is basically hosted on the cloud. So you don't need to worry on the infrastructure side. You just need to focus on building and deploying your code. Now with Travis CI, as I already said, it already provides you many integration including GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and all. So basically, you can integrate your any of the repository to trigger builds. Now, whenever any changes or any commits that you make onto your code, so it will be automatically picked up by this Travis CI, and by it will start building and deploying those code like howsoever you have configured this YAML file. Now it has various programming languages that it is supporting to maybe there's n number of languages. If I say I'll be showing you that later on also. Now let us just discuss these benefits of Travis CI. So in the market currently we have n number of CI tools that are available, but what makes Travis CI different from other tools is it basically is a self-hosted. And if I like talk about the benefits of Travis CI, so for continuous integration, it basically automates the process of integrating the code changes from multiple developers. So uh, whenever there is a commit made in the repository, it will by directly be picked up by this Travis CI, and it will start building that project. And with the continuous integration, if I say like after building the code, we also come across like to test that code. So for that we already have some test cases written in our project. Now Travis CI help you to run an automated test as a part of the build process, and it also supports various testing frameworks and provides you an standardized environment for the consistent and reliable testing. Now, one of the important benefits of Travis CI is its build notification. So, like in the other CI tools, you must have observed, like in the case of Jenkins, if you want to notify anyone, like suppose you have a group of developers that wants to be notified whenever a build is successful uh, or it is failed. So in the case of Jenkins, you need to configure this SMTP and go through a long process, right? But in the case of Travis CI, what happens? They have already integrated email, and you just need to write 2 lines of code, and in all the information regarding the bill, like whatsoever is the build status, either it is failed or either it is succeeded, everything will be forwarded to you once it is completed. Now under notifications there can be various channels also, like Slack, or you can also use any chat platforms or any custom webhook that you want. Now, the next benefit I would say is community and ecosystem. So, Travis CI also do have a large and active community. And if I say on the documentation point of view, so it is easy to read. So, like you don't need to have some more experience in order to understand this. So, at and it from the ecosystem point of view, it integrates with a popular development tools like Slack, Jira, and all. Now, the other benefits, as I already mentioned, that it is easy to set up and integrate. So it can be integrated with GitHub and any other source code um, repositories that you want. So within just like few steps, you will be able to link your repository and you can start running your build. And it do like as I already mentioned, it do support these various programming languages or platforms. Now, next comes is parallel and distributed build. So what happens when you're building a large project? So usually there are some components that you can build um, in a like parallel. You can split the build, right? So uh, in these Travis CI also supports that. And the next comes the part is the CD part, so where we basically do the deployment. So with Travis CI, it do supports multiple ways through which we can do the deployment. So if you want to deploy your any package to the S3, then it can be integrated with Travis CI. And if you have any like AWS code deploy, if you want to do the CD part with the code deploy, then you can easily integrate that with this Travis CI. So the continuous integration part can be done with CI, with the Travis CI, and the continuous deployment part can be done by integrating the code deploy also. So depending on your use case, it has a number of deployment automation integrations available, which you can basically like explore on your own also, and I'll be also showing you that also. Now, how this Travis CI works. Now, if I say, it basically follows a straightforward workflow to automate your build, testing, and deployment of any of your project. Now, on if I say like, first you need to do a repository setup. Now, whenever you are trying to use this Travis CI, you need to link your GitHub repository with Travis CI. And how we do that? We just add one file at the root of the project with the name.travis.yaml. Right, and this travis.yaml file basically contains all the instructions and configuration for your Travis CI to understand how the build needs to be takes place, or how the testing needs to be takes place. Now, next come is the triggering a build. So whenever changes are pushed, or maybe on the PR also, it will like build the process as it is defined in the file. So the trigger can be anything. It can be push, pull, or maybe a cron job that you can set up according to your need. Next comes is the environment setup. So whenever you are doing a build, so this Travis CI will spin up a virtual machine or maybe a container, and it will basically create a isolated environment for your build. So the environment, we can define it on travis.yaml. And if you want to build it on multiple machines, like if you want to build it on Linux or Windows or Mac, so you can also do that. And the build process, like once the environment is set up, it will execute a set of commands that we define in this travis.yaml. So this set of commands can be anything. Like if I take the example of a maven project, so it will just start executing this compile, then it will do the testing, and then further it will do the package. Well, it will generate a jar file, and then we can also dockerize this project and can push it also. Now, this test execution. So Travis CI runs the automated test defined in your project during the build process. So as we already have like discussed, it has various testing frameworks, and it provides you a standard test runners for like the popular languages that we have. Maybe it can Java, Python, or Ruby. And build notification, we have already discussed that and this is for like continuous feedback, so we can enable our email or Slack or anything that we want. And deployment also, wherever we want to deploy, maybe on AWS or maybe on GitHub packages, so we can do that with this Travis AI. Now this build history and logs, so it keeps an track of the history of your build digits, like what are the artifacts are generated, what was the build log, either it is failed. So you can like navigate those logs through your CI dashboard, or if you want, you can use this here command line utility that it has provided. So there is one also on command line utility through which you can trigger your builds. You can get the status of the build or list of the repos through which your Travis CI is already integrated, or history of the build. So you can all do that with this Travis CI. Now, let us understand life cycle in Travis CI. So, in the last, I mentioned about a Travis.yaml. So, how we define a job life cycle in that Travis.yaml file. So, if I say build is basically a sequence of stages, and in each state we have a job, which basically can run in parallel also. So, basically the common sequence of phases, I would say, is install, which is basically for installing any dependencies that is required in your project. And through script, we can run any of the commands. So it can be any custom commands that you want. And before install, so if you can directly see from the naming also, we can get that it can execute a set of commands before install. And similarly for before script also, so suppose you have been executing one command in the script, but there is another command that needs to be executed before that. So before that and before each stage, so in that case you can use this before script. So whenever a script is invoked in any of these stage, then before script will be executed first, and after that the set of commands that are present in the script, it will be executed. Similarly is the after script. And next comes is the after success and after failure. So in the travis.yml file, we do have two parameters, that is after success. So it will like whenever your build is succeeded, either you can print message, or maybe you can invoke a build notification that will like go and just report it. And similarly this is for after failure also. So like if you suppose there is a failure and you want the log files to be uploaded, so you can do that. Now supported, it supports many languages, so I haven't listed down all the languages because the number was more. So if I say the most common languages that we use are is javascript, python, ruby, java, go language. So it does support all these. And from the popular frameworks, so it has ruby on rails, django, flask, react, and many more. Now, let us compare this Jenkins with Travis CI. So, Jenkins, if I say it is an open source tool. So basically, it was originated from this Hudson project that we had, and it is quietly, it is mostly like plugin based, and it is highly flexible and extensible, offering like, and there are for every functionality in Jenkins we do have a plugin. And if you want, we can like use these external plugins also in order to use any some custom functionality. So basically Jenkins is self-hosted, meaning that we need to set up and maintain the Jenkins infrastructure on our own. Either it can be on-prem, or if we want we can set it up on the cloud also. But yeah, under the hood we have to maintain those infrastructure. So Jenkins, basically it is used by most of the organization to handle these large and complex projects. So it is like basically suited for organization with diverse needs. So in Jenkins we do have a two ways through which we can write the syntax. Either it can be scripted or declarative. And on scripted, if I say in Jenkins, in the case of Jenkins, we do also have shared libraries that we can like declare them at the project level. And with we can also reuse those shared libraries in all our projects. And in the case of Jenkins, we basically follow this Groovy scripting, and we can like store this code in the form of shared libraries. And by making each of the functionality as one function and reusing those function with the help of Jenkins file. So this is one of the like, I would say it is a one of the best functionality that we have in Jenkins. That is what it makes us one of the like one of the um, tool with where organization like use them with a diverse needs and for like well seated workflows and all. And for the Travis CI, if I say it is a hosted here we don't need to maintain any infrastructure or all. So it is already hosted, and we can seem like we can just integrate our any of the repository, maybe GitLab or GitHub, and then we can start building and testing the project that we want. So basically it provide us an easy to set up experience compared to Jenkins. But it is a cloud based service, meaning that we don't need to worry about this maintaining the infrastructure. So Travis CI also focuses on simplicity and ease of use. providing a straightforward configuration file to define your build step. So in the case of Jenkins, what was happening, we have two approach, that is either we can use a declarative pipeline or maybe scripted pipeline. But in the case of Travis CI, it is just an YAML based, and it is easy to define also and easy to understand also. But in the case of Jenkins file, if you go onto the Groovy side, so it is quite complex compared to Travis. So in Travis CI, it offers a good range of build integration. So as I already compared regarding the notification, so if you want to set up a notification for email in the case of Jenkins, then you need to go through a large number of steps. And while in the case of Travis CI, it is just like 2 or 3 lines of code that we can just define in our travis.yml file, and it will start notifying you in the case of either failure or whenever, like in the case of build is succeeded. Now to conclude, I would say Travis CI basically simplifies the process of continuous integration, which basically enables the developers to build, test, and package the code. And with its extensive language support and customization options and integration, it empowers like large number of teams to deliver high quality and software efficiently. Now let us discuss these pros and cons that we have. So in the case of Travis CI, the pros that we like already discussed, it is easy to set up, and it has like for documentation also, and it do provide you like broad language support. And the next will be build metrics and parallel testing. So in the case of Travis CI, it basically allows you to define a build matrix that is like enabling you to test your project on multiple configuration, and that multiple configuration can be different operating system or maybe language versions or maybe dependency combinations. So you can do that. You can like test those out in a parallel testing, which will like help you to reduce your overall execution time. And so that is the benefit for this. And the next come is easy deployment. So with easy deployments, basically it will provide you seamless integration with any of the deployment platforms like AWS or Azure or maybe GitHub packages as per your need. Whatever you want, you can use. Now, since every tool has their pros, it has cons also. So let us discuss this cons. So the first one is like limited resource on free plan. Yep. So since the free tier of Travis CI comes with a certain limitations, so such limitation can be like the number of concurrent builds or limited build time. So if you want to go with the free plan, so there is a limit with the build time that you can use it. And there is also a restriction that is like available for some of the features. So if you want to go for building larger projects or you want to manage your organization with this Travis CI, then you need to go and upgrade your plan to a paid version, or maybe you can choose this Travis CI enterprise version. Now, next comes is this complexity for advanced configuration. So while the basic setup is easy to use or easy to configure, but like if you want to configure your build processes, especially for the projects with multiple components, then it becomes a challenging task. It may like require you a lot of effort to handle the custom builds or maybe dependency management. So it will take you more time doing those things. And the next comes is the limited self-hosted options. So unlike the other tools, as we already discussed, this Jenkins, so you don't Travis CI doesn't offer any self-hosted or any on-prem option. So this is like one of the con. So in the case of Travis CI, it is just like cloud hosted, so you don't need, get an option to do it on-prem, or you if you want to run and test your infrastructure within your organization, then it is like not good. And the next comes is this third party integration limitations. So yeah, it does offers a lot of integrations, but there is also an limitation to that. So while like Travis AI integrates well with GitHub and various deployment platforms, but as I already mentioned earlier, that it has now started supporting GitLab, Bitbucket, and but earlier it was not supporting this um, GitLab and Bitbucket and the others. So that is it's one of the I would say limitation, no, because currently these are in the beta stage and the testing is still going on for this Bitbucket and GitLab support. So yeah, this is one of the limitation that it has. And the next comes is build queue times. So during the periods of heavy uses, like suppose and this free plan, it can become congested, leading to longer waiting times, or your build can be in the queue for longer time, and this will like help you, and sorry, this will like slow down your development workforce, which is basically we usually avoid. So if you want to rely on the faster deployments, then it is something that you have to go for the paid plans only. So if I say to summarize this, if I say like it is worth noting that uh, this tool has both pros and cons, but it usually depends on your specific requirements, project size, and maybe the team preference, like what they want to go for. So usually, whenever we are choosing any CI/CD tool, so we usually evaluate like considering there are various factors like pricing, scalability, integration options, and other community support that we'll be getting through that CI/CD tool. So yeah, this was all about the pros and cons. And next, let me go to this demo. Yeah, so this is a project that I'm going to use. So if you can see, this is an Maven based project where I have defined this travis.yml file at this root of the project. So this will basically print a hello, and I have already written this Docker file for this project. So with this Travis, we'll be basically building this project and we'll be doing the testing. So there are some test cases also, and further we'll be generating one jar file, and then we'll be like um, dockerizing this whole project, and we'll be pushing it in our Docker hub. Now to start with this, let me just give you a brief idea of this travis.yml file. So yeah, if you can see at this starting we have this language. So as I already mentioned, it does like gives you an option where you can like specify what language your project is on, and then what was required, like in the case of Java we need this JDK. So we have clearly mentioned that we want open JDK 11. Then we specify the branches, like since I only want this to be like built on this development branch only. So whenever there will be any push or maybe any PR that is generated against the development branch, then in that case only it will start building this project. Now this environment is basically for um, environment variables. That in the case of this, I am using one environment variable, that is image name, and the image name I'm giving is here Java. And next comes is the services. So services is basically, suppose here I want to use this Docker. So it we can define this under the services, and it will like it will be downloading this Docker and setting it up for me, and I'll be just I don't need to like write any commands or do a manual setup. It will be done by this Travis AI itself. And the next comes is the jobs. So under the jobs we have three stages. That is first is build. So just I'm like doing a mvn compile, and then I'm like testing this project, and then I'm like doing a ambient package. Now after success, so like whenever this test package and compile is completed and it is successful, then after that it will like I just like for testing it is just printing one message that is successful, and then I'm building this image with this environment variable that I already provided above, and then I'm like log in into my Docker hub, and then I like listing down all the images that I have, and then I'm like tagging it and pushing it on my repo that I have created on this Docker hub. Now next was this notification. So we all like already discussing this in the PPT. So there I mentioned that it provides you an integration with this notification where you can like easily with this just two lines of code you can uh, specify where we want to sell your build. So in the case of this, I'm using this email and I have clearly like mentioned my email. So whatever will be built, either it can be on the case of failure or in the case of success, it will just send an mail is like stating that my build and has failed or passed. So mean just to a committed only. So just for testing purpose, let me do a just commit. So if you see under this, we have this job running. So you can see it has 15.1, 15.2, 15.3. So the build number is 15. But yeah, since it has three stages, so it has defined those stages as 15.1, 15.2, and 15.3. So if we go in one of the stage, then you can see first it has received this job. So in this Travis CI, after this job has been received, it has like queued them, and then it has started once this environment has been set up. So by environment has been set up, I mean it has like launched one Linux image, Linux VM for me, and then it has started to build this project over that. And the other thing that I can show you, let us go into the, while this project is getting built, let me just walk you through the settings. So in the settings, you can see you can clearly like define if you want to access this old build job log. So if you disable it, so you will not be able to access it more than like 365 days. And auto cancellation allows you to like, it basically allows you to only run builds for the latest commit in the queue. So suppose what happens, we usually make like if I have committed one job, one committed one change, and then the build has already been triggered, but now after few seconds I make another commit. So in the case of that, it will just cancel the previous build and it will start building the project on the latest commit that it has received. And similarly, we do also have this auto cancel pull request build. So this is like similar to what for the commits also. So it will like start once it is enabled, then it will start building it for the latest one. Now, suppose you want to define your environment variables, like if you want to define your Docker Hub username or the password, so you can like you customize this under this environment variables tab. So here you can clearly define the username and the password, and then you can like specify that it is in secret. So by like specifying this as a secret, it will not show this variables value on the log. And then you can like if you want this environment variable to be available for on a specific branch, then you can do that also. Or if you just want your variable to be available for all the branches, then you can simply select these options. Yeah, so we usually define this environment variables in this format only. So it has name, value.
Hi Rishi, sorry to disturb you, but just for information, we have 7 minutes left for this session. Okay, so just wrap up accordingly.
Sure, sure. So
Okay,
in the
thank you.
case
Please
of
continue.
branch, we can simply define whatever branch. So see, I have development. So if I want this value to be only available for development branch, then I can do that. Or maybe if I want to use any other branch, then I can do that also. And if you don't define anything, it will be for all branches. And with this option, we usually like enable either we want to display this value on the build log or we don't. And if you want to set up this repo is like cron job, if you want this build to be running at a specific interval or maybe monthly or weekly or daily, then you can like do that. So it is, yeah, as I already mentioned that Travis CI is easy to set up, so this is what I meant. So you can set up everything with the UI only, so it is not as much as complex compared to others. And so there are some beta features also that they have like started. Let me just check my build. Yeah, if you can see with this current, we can see the current builds. So it is still building this. So yeah, the build is successful. Now it will start this testing. Yeah, the other thing that I want to show you is this config. So this is the travis.yml file that we have defined. So under this, you can see this is the first thing that it specifies that this config is validated. So although it was missing the distribution and the OS, but by default, it has taken this OS as Linux and this NIL. Yeah, so now this is just the build config that it is specified. And if I show you this build history, so here like you can get the details of all the build history that you have performed and the branches. It this is the default branch. So in the build config we have already defined this default branch would be development. So it has like all the build history that it has performed. So currently it is performing this 15, so that's why it is showing this yellow color. So once it is completed, it will be less like showing it as a green. And next comes this dashboard. So under the dashboard, if you see, it is only enabled for this Java-demo project. So because as I already mentioned that if you want to enable any of the project with this Travis CI, just you need to define one travis.yml file under the root of your project. So this is how it works. And for other projects, you don't think like, and it clearly mentions that there is no build available. Now, the other thing that I can show you is this Travis client. So suppose you want to interact with this Travis CI with the CLI, then you can also do that. So you just need to simply install this Travis CI client, which you can do with this installing instructions. So if I show you Travis, yeah. So this is the n number of actions that you can perform. So uh, yeah, you need to authenticate first, then you can perform these all actions. So if you want to like display the accounts and their subscription status, you can do that. You can want to monitor any bill, or you want to get the list of the repos, or you want to sync your account. So by sync I mean suppose there are like new repos that you have created in the GitHub. So you can just click on sync button and it will make a sync with the GitHub and will fetch all the new repos. And if you want to cancel, similarly, like there is history init logs, you want to perform anything, you can like do that with the CLI client also. Okay. Now, yeah, the sync, if you want to do it from UI, you can do it under the settings. Just go into the settings, and under that you have one sync account that you can do. And this is the plan. So as of now, it is working on this trial plan. But if you want to change and use any other, so you can do that from the pricing point of view. You can see under the uh, under this trial plan, it is like unlimited unique users, so there can be a number of users, but it has like only 10,000 credits, and it do gives us you this operating systems as Linux, Windows, Mac OS, or previous builds. Yeah. Okay, now let us check this. Yeah, so you can see the build is successful, the test is successful. Now it is running this package. So it is putting this virtual machine. While it is, maybe I can show you the other history. Let's see. So let us go into this logs. Yeah. So you can see once after this package is completed and it has generated one artifact, then it is running this after success steps that were like it is printing successful, then it is doing a Docker build that is building the image, then it is like doing a login into Docker Hub, and then it is printed these images, and then it has tagged this image, and now it has pushed that image into my Docker Hub. So this is, yeah, how it runs a CI job. Yeah, meanwhile, I think it will take time to complete. So maybe if you have any questions, then you can ask me. Yeah. Any question, guys? Yeah, so it has started building this image. And if I go into my mail, you'll see, okay, jobs. Second show you. Yes, see, so it has tagged this image and it has already uh, pushed this image to my Docker hub. And you see, we have received one mail exactly at 5:03. So it has like the notification is just build has passed, and the change was commit was I updated one readme file. And if you want to view this changed set, and it has also the total time that the build took, so it was 12 minutes and 48 seconds. And if you click on this change set, then you can it will directly take you to your GitHub, and it will just give you a diff of what change you have made. So yeah, this was all about Travis CI. Any questions? If you have, you can ask me, or we are good.
Thank you, Rishi. Team, anyone has any question or any doubt, they can ask it right now. I think Rishi, there is no question from anyone right now. If they have anyone, they will drop your message in person in our team chat. So teams, if you have any doubt afterward, also you can directly reach out to Rishi for the same. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you for conducting this session. It was an in-depth session, and thank you everyone for attending the session. And have a nice day. So thank you, Rishi. We can close the session now.
Thank you.